Doop, boop, boop. Here we get to going. We off and away. When people show up, why can't I type? Actual. Okay. Hopefully people get to showing up soon. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. And yes, things are going all right. Starting to get warmer around here. Okay, yeah, I'm at 100%. Did all the speed runs yesterday, which was fun. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to work on. I might honestly hop back and forth between this and the longer comic based on what I'm feeling like or what people want to see. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Doing a bunch of cleanup today. Or roughs or colors. I don't know, we can do whatever we want. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Hope you guys are doing well this Sunday. It's definitely getting warmer here. Yeah, I'm like, okay, we'll do a bunch of different stuff for now. I might pop around different things that need to be worked on. Excuse me. And of course, I still do the thing where I'm getting up to do stretches and all that regularly. I think it might be ads. Well, wait till those are done. That's okay. I'm not doing too much right now except for the lines. Oh, lol, that's funny. Who's your D&D character? Like, what class and stuff do you play? Sharks are cool. And hopefully I can get back to a little bit of D&D in the future. I'm missing the character I had for that. Huh. Oh, that's fun. Oh, I love hognoses. They have such cute faces. And druids are fun. I've never played a druid before. I want to try that sometime. Just rip a room minus the explosives. Okay, what's that a reference to? I feel like I should know. I feel like I should recognize that name, but I don't. Oh, Crash Bandicoot. Okay. So that's why I don't know it. I have not played Crash Bandicoot. I'm not sure if I will. Crazy laugh and lots of TNT. Kind of sounds appropriate for Crash Bandicoot. Kangaroos are kind of frightening, honestly. Have you ever seen one in real life? They don't even walk anywhere. They always hop because of how their legs are built. They're a little bit spoopy. Like, they're cool. They're a little spoopy. With their big human chests and their giant toes on their legs, and in fact they don't walk, they just hop. And their big long faces. Shouldn't they be blue kangaroos? Wonder why you would evolve to jump around everywhere? Well, it's kind of faster, I guess. You gotta get some, I feel like my guess is you would evolve to hop around everywhere because it's maybe energy efficient, especially in a hot environment. I remember watching something about kangaroos, like basically licking themselves in order to cool down because it's really hot in those parts of Australia. So you actually see them just like licking and licking and licking their arms, and it helps cool them down. I'm not sure if that would dehydrate you if you were licking yourself a lot, but I don't know. Maybe it works for kangaroos. If I were a dingo, I would not want to fight a kangaroo, just saying. Like, you really look at those guys and they literally look like they have, like, a big buff, like, six-pack man chest. And it's like, why do you have that? You are a marsupial. I guess if you're a pack of dingoes, you might have a chance of taking down a kangaroo, but if you're a single dingo, then it's not seem pleasant. Oh, yay! Cake in the oven. Ooh, cake sounds good. I'll probably take a break for muffins for a snack at some point in the middle of this. Yeah, I didn't stream so this last week because I was watching SGDQ because I like watching the speed runs. They're fun, but that's done now. So, back to it. Right now this is some character art for Eldritchrune. I'm working on Torio. I also have roughs for like Asgore and Ralsei. But if I want to switch over, I also have some pages roughed of short little comic stuff for Eldritchrune. I probably will not do full color because that would take too long. But like, you know, probably some fancier shading like I did on the image stuff. So we can switch over to that if you guys want something a bit more narrative. Oh, that's funky. Instant muffins. Yeah, I usually, for breakfast stuff, I started making, muffins for breakfast, and I just, like, have them throughout the week. And I make them on Sunday. That's to try and discourage me from having cereal all the time, especially since I became a little less able to have lactose. Not lactose intolerant, just it's not super great. Hello, thank you for coming. Oh, good. I'm not even sure what the finished product would be. Again, I'm just kind of making stuff that's kind of fun to do until we get more chapters of actual Deltarune. Figured, hey, this is a fun thing that I'm just kind of carrying along with and doing stuff with as I go. And probably a better use of my time than getting mad at theories I don't like. So, yeah, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. What kind of muffins are they? For my muffins, I make chocolate chip or whole wheat chocolate chip zucchini muffins. Yeah, I don't want it to be like a whole direct story because I think it would be crazy long, and I'm not sure how I could fill in all the spaces, especially since we don't have like chapters 3 through 7 yet. So it's just fun to like, okay, let's world build, let's explore, I'll comic out some scenes I want to do. But I didn't want to do something where I'm like, okay, I have to stick to a schedule kind of thing, because then it's like this whole extra thing. Like, I do want to do something like that in the future, but I want that to be more canon based after all the chapters are out. Yeah, I like zucchini fine. as itself, but like zucchini is pretty good in baked goods as well. Mostly I was like, hey, it's a way for me to get a vegetable into my diet. And the chocolate makes it taste good, so it's easy to eat. I hope so, although I get the feeling we probably won't get next Eldritchrune chapters until, I'm guessing early next year is kind of my assumption based on the last newsletter. Maybe the next one will come out, the summer newsletter will come out and be like, oh, they're actually further along than I thought. Maybe it will be like late this year. But my guess is like late this year, early next year, and I'm leaning more towards early next year. Yeah, zucchini does pretty well in baked goods. It, one of those vegetables that just does it. Probably because it's like a lot of, you know, it's not super flavorful, has a lot of water in it, so it just kind of adds some nice crunch. Yeah, I honestly might. if the actual canon is the same way Paper Trail does, then I'll just like, whoops, I've called myself out too hard. Now I gotta do that too. Hello, thank you for coming. And honestly, the thing of it is like, I'm still, the Eldritchrune is just like, fun stuff I want to do, small comics, character world building, stuff like that. But the thing of it is I'm still kind of convinced that, even though I think it's going to be extremely different from Paper Trail in terms of actual plot and stuff, I'm still convinced that the actual quote-unquote ending we're going to get with actual canon is kind of what it was in Paper Trail, and that we as the players get cut off from Chris before we actually kind of see everything that goes down. Because maybe I'll do like a video essay if I have time. Not that I do, but you know, one can dream. Because I feel like it's like the natural progression of Chris's character, and kind of goes into more stuff like about what we know about Chris and what they do. And I feel like a large part of Chris's character is them learning to have like the courage to do things on their own. I feel like that's kind of a major stickling point for them right now, is that they feel like they lack agency and the courage to actually do their own thing. Like, they, you know, have their mom hold their hand wherever they go, and people make fun of them for that, or Susie does anyway. And you see how courage is like an important stat for Chris in the Dark World, and it keeps going up as it's progressing. So I think, and honestly I think this is a way that both the weird route with, you know, making them do terrible things and the regular route where you're not, can like tie into each other, in that one way or another the natural progression of like what Chris's character arc is for them to gain the courage to do things on their own, and to gain that independence and realize, hey, I can make my own decisions and trust myself to be my own person, pretty much. And because of that, like, well, the natural progression of that is that the player can't then control Chris anymore, and that's how we experience the world, so we're going to get cut off from that. And maybe it'll be some nuance to it, but that's still my thoughts. No, thank you about that scene with Susie and Noelle, because that was a good one to write. I had that scene in my head for a long time before I actually got to it. Yeah, that's another thing. I remember that from Toby talking about it. And honestly, like, that is another one of the reasons why I feel like it's going to end that way. But see, it wasn't us. It wasn't Chris manipulating Noelle into murder. That was us. And the courage they're getting is fighting back against that control. But, like, I don't know. He said that, like, it was based on a dream he had, and that he wanted to do that as a game. And at least if I was in that position, and like I had this big, crazy, elaborate dream with like all this interesting, fancy stuff going on, and then at the end of it, the character basically like, or the character I've been following basically turned to me and was like, "We can't do this without you. You have to go." And then I woke up or something like that. Like, that's the kind of thing that would stick with me to the point, and leave an impact on me to the point where 15 years later I'd still want to make a game about it and the feelings it gave me. But that's just me. That's my interpretation. I can very well be wrong. Yeah, exactly. That like it seems like a major thing with Chris is that they feel like they're not encouraged to, you know, make their own decisions. They're not encouraged to accept responsibility for themselves and for a number of different things. That they feel like they lack the courage to do so. Because at least in my feelings right now, are that the issue between like Chris and the Holiday family is that whatever happened with Des, that Chris was there for. I think that basically what the reason why Des went missing is Chris's fault, but not because Chris did something, but rather inaction on their part. They lacked courage. They were probably supposed to help out with. They could have helped Des and didn't, and that's weighing on them. If that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. I have no clue what it will be like after the canon stuff. I just imagine that there's going to be something I'm desperately going to want to do a project for. Whether it's I don't like how this ended and I want to fix it, or I love how this ended and I want to expand on it, or I love how this ended and I don't want to change it but let's explore some backstory. Like any one of those I can see myself like going into after canon. Yeah, I know a little bit about Mother 3 ending because, again, I watched that Super Eye Patch Wolf video. Comic went, oh, I mean, I know, you would think, I don't know, but the way that, maybe it's because Deltarune was already taking up so much space in my mind, but the way that Kingdom Hearts 3 ended kind of destroyed any interest I did have for it. And part of me fears that would happen with Deltarune, but I don't honestly think it will, because I'll be totally honest, I trust Toby's storytelling ability better than I do Nomura's. I think Nomura has a tendency to do like really big random stuff that just strikes his fancy and doesn't always make logical sense. I think Toby is honestly a bit better at telling stories than Nomura. I mean, your mileage may vary with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I can't really explain what I don't like about it without spoiling it. So, you know, you might like it. Just for me, I was like, this felt unsatisfying. I don't really want to download the DLC. I feel like I've invested all this stuff, and it's not really jiving with me anymore. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you thought that was a good way to end. I know that I think if there was a weakness with that ending, it's that it's probably not appropriate for a comic, which is a passive thing, as opposed to a game, which is an active thing. So I do think that's the ending that we're probably going to get with the actual canon, until I'm proven otherwise. But I expect Toby to execute it way, way, way better than I did. if for no other reason than it's in the proper medium of being a game rather than a comic. It's painful. Also, who knows? Maybe we'll get other ways to peer into the world, and even if we're cut off from Chris, we can still see some other things from them. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't program. And even if I could, programming a game takes so long. So, comic is what I did. But yeah, I still think that's how Deltarune's going to end, because again, I think that's the logical ending of Chris's character progression. But I expect Toby would execute on it much better than I did. And obviously, I think the circumstances around it being very different. I don't think that, for example, Gaster's human anymore. I don't think the humans are locked in the bunker. It was good for like the paper trail story, but I don't think that's the case with canon, for example. Yeah. I tried to learn programming. I did. It's hard. It's hard. I wish I had the brain for it. Like, I try really hard to learn programming, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. I did, like, little tutorials. I bought a copy of Game Maker, and it was cool to work with, but it felt like very slow progress for me, and I was kind of thinking where I'm like, I don't know if I have the time to dedicate to learning everything while making what I want to make. Because game development is super cool. Much like animation, it is extremely time consuming. Yeah, exactly. If you want to write a fanfic, then like, it's fine to just ignore canon and be like, hey, this is how I'm gonna work it. Kind of stuff. Like, there are some things from Paper Trail that canon was like, oh, we haven't disproven this yet, and some things I'm like, okay, that's obviously not gonna happen. Like, no, I was kind of sad that, like, basically we're not gonna get to see much more of Lancer because of the way the Dark Worlds are set up. He's got his big ol' beard. Thank you. This has both versions. Trying to decide if I should go through and start coloring on these guys, or just start going through the lines on the comic section. So I at least got roughs done for the first part, and backgrounds roughed for all the other parts, which is just 3 so far. Yeah. And like, on the other hand, I can kind of understand why that happens. Like, if you keep adding more characters, that's a lot more to keep track of, and that becomes kind of unwieldy. So from a practical standpoint, I can understand, why they be like, okay, all these other characters from, other worlds you found, well, they're going to be in the town. You can't see them in other places. But I liked what they did with, like, Lancer and Susie's friendship, so I'm a little sad that that's kind of probably going to stay pretty stagnant. Susie eats ball, Lancer. Oh, that short film was so sad. Are all the characters evil in Eldritchrune, or are they spooky looking? Well, they're definitely spooky looking. And I wouldn't necessarily say they're good either. They're monstrous, and their motivations are not the same as, regular high school character motivations. I don't want to say, oh, they're evil either, because that's kind of reductive. No, he was stool form the whole time. Oh. I mean, I did appreciate the fact that, like, in Chapter 2, I'm like, oh, yay, I got to see Susie carrying him on her back, like I drew in Paper Trail, so that was nice. But I'm guessing it's not going to develop too much. Well, I kind of wonder if Chris is going to keep taking them around in their pocket if they know that Lancer can't really leave their pocket for long periods of time anymore. It was in Chris's spacious pants hole. Probably go through these and oh. That. No. Oh, I'm really glad that it resonated with you. I love Susie. She's one of my favorite characters. She's so cool. And again, everybody loves Susie. You see that in canon, everybody's like, Susie, you're so cool. It's like, seems like Susie knows that the only one who doesn't like herself as much as other characters do. Like, she boasts about herself, but I don't know if she necessarily likes herself. Yeah, see, how often we get the original Star Walker? He's the original Star Walker. I think it would be kind of funny if just like in every world that Rules card appears in, he just keeps adding accents until he's just incomprehensible. Because he's just like, what are you saying? You're just layered on so many accents. Like, he just gets a southern drawl in the next one because of the cowboy stuff. If the cowboy stuff does happen. Susie be relatable because she's hungry all the time. That's true. That's her deal in Eldritchrune for sure. Chips ahoy, landlubbers. Yeah, we'll see if the cowboy stuff happens or not. Yeah, she's definitely friendship starved. She needs friends! The main issue is that she feels like she doesn't deserve friends, and it's like, no, you do deserve friends. And happiness. I don't know. Well, probably a lot of this is going to be color. Yeah. Basically that kind of feeling of something that's affecting your life but is outside of your control. And it's not well understood by other people. Least of all yourself. That's a frustrating and or isolating thing to deal with. And at least the thing about that with Noelle is that she's like, okay, you're not isolated though. You can get help with it. That's what I was trying to convey anyway. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens with Caddy and Jockington. I'm pretty convinced that they are going to be showing up as future Dark World partners, because we have this kind of unspoken thing going on between like Caddy and Susie, and I think that the thing with Caddy is that she knows something about Susie that other people don't. That's some kind of dark secret. Because she does not like Susie at all. And, like, yeah, she can say that, it's because she stole Jockington's hat, but I think there's more to it than that. So I think Caddy knows something about Susie that is actually pretty dark, and that is why they'll have to reconcile that somehow. Yeah, then we need the Shadow Mantle for the whatever the next boss is. How will we find it? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what Caddy knows about her. We can go through and color these, or I can go back to, actually, I'll go ahead and do my, I'm not sure if it's my break yet. Not quite yet. If I should go color these, or if I should go on to the comic section. Yeah, I mean, we don't know if specifically that Toriel called Undyne. She just called the police. Guess we can do this unless you guys want to go back and do color on the other sections. Up to you. So it could be Undyne. Actually, I probably should do panels. Oh well. Yeah, then maybe Napstablook will show up. I don't know. Yeah, Napstablook's like, I'm not bothering with that. Bye. Oh, wait, Doggo was a criminal. How did he get there? If Toriel called the police. He's part of the Wet Nose Bandits. Okay, that would be really funny. It's like, can Pizza Pants be redeemed? Because in terms of obnoxious characters, he might be even worse than Birdly. But if Birdly can, you know, get a little better, maybe Pizza Pants can too. Yeah, the dogs are criminals! I hope kids know the Wet-Nosed Bandits reference, because that's very funny. Yeah, how not to be a complete creep. Because, like, Birdly's obnoxious. And a little bit of a creep, but you can excuse some of that with age. Like, Pizza Pants is assumedly an adult. A young adult, maybe, but still an adult. But he is a creep. Gotta catch these sickos. Well, the thing with the Wet-Nosed Bandits is they got caught trying to break into the Holiday House, but somebody found them. Presumably it's Mayor Holiday, and they were so scared of her they went running into Undyne's loving embrace, where she suplexed them into jail. What did Pizza Pants do again? The creepiest thing he did was like, hey, check out my long distance girlfriend, and it's like a badly shown JPEG of, you know, of a pizza. He acts really off. He seems like the kind of guy, he presents himself as the kind of guy who just like hangs around and like watches chicks. We're gonna go hunting for chicks and stuff, and it's like, okay. Haven't you got anything better to do? He's looking at that pizza smut. This is the part where I need a line from MST3K, because there's a short where they're making fun of it, and one of the jokes they do is, the pizza dominatrix! And I'm like, oh, that's for Pizza Pants. He likes that. But yeah, Pizza Pants Dark World would be extremely funny. I don't know how you'd fit that in, but it would be funny. Actually, I'm kind of wondering if I can't, kind of wondering if I should, color this background first and then copy-paste it a bunch of times, because I know I'm going to be reusing it. It'd be nice not to redraw it a bajillion times. Should I do that? I don't know. Where are the bodacious Bigfoot babes? Yeah, I don't know. They don't have talk sprites. It'd be kind of cool to see. I've seen some cool ideas for, like, Monster Kid and the Dark World anyway. I feel like if there's going to be other characters that show up, it would be the kids first. Oh, it's time for my break. Time for my break. Time for me to do a stretch. How did it start? Yeah, it honestly just kind of escalated from ask. People are like, oh, you should do Noelle. So I was like, okay, sure, that'll be fun. And people are like, oh, you should do Chris. And I'm like, oh, well, Chris would be fun if they did this. And then people just kept asking for more characters, and I had to start thinking about, well, why do I make these choices for them? And I'm like, oh, well, I need to do a narrative for that. And I'm like, oh, now there's a narrative. And there's world building. It's just one of those things that just kind of spirals out. And it's fun to draw scary things. It's fun to draw a scary thing. But yeah, Susie is literally just repurposed from Susie's Nightmare paper trail. Recycle, reduce, reuse. I gotta stretch. At least my neck is no longer in massive amounts of pain. I can move it freely. Let's continue to do so. Thank you. As long as people are like, oh, it's SCP-682. I'm like, you've made this joke 50 times already. 50 times. The only things they share are that they're big lizards, quadruped lizards with hair. Because, like, 682 is, like, constantly rotting because they put it in acid, and he's also indestructible and hates humanity. And I don't know, I feel like those are relevant things beyond just big lizard with hair. Yeah, isn't 682 basically like a whale? Somebody took a picture of, like, what's probably a dead whale on the shore. There's quite a few big lizards with hair. I think 682 is just the most popular one. I mean, lizards with hair is nothing new. That's been a thing from mythology forever. Or lizards with feathers, one or the other. Yeah, with big one eye. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Okay. Alright, and coming back. Yeah, some dinosaurs had feathers. They didn't all have feathers. But some dinosaurs did. Oh, yeah, there's probably religious reasons. People are like, dinosaurs didn't exist, because then we'd have to admit that, like, the Earth is, you know, old and, evolution exists. And some people do not want to deal with that, so you gotta start with dinosaurs don't exist. Which they did, which is cool. I'm glad we shared a planet with dinosaurs. They're super cool. Yeah, the thing with dinosaurs didn't exist is it's all the same stuff as, like, young Earth and flat Earth and all that business. It just kind of gets repurposed into different flavors. Alright, I hope this isn't gonna stretch it out too much if I make it big. No, it might be too big of a change. Fine. I don't want it to look chunky. Humans were made up by the government to sell more humans. Then who's in charge of the government? Humans were made up by humans. Just to create more humans. Which, actually is probably accurate. It's the whole perpetuate the cycle of existence stuff. No, the benefit of faking them is, it makes you believe in Satan and all that. And if you're evil, then you want to make people believe in Satan. So you're like, Satan put the dinosaurs here on Earth to trick you. Yeah, I'm Christian myself, but, evolution is real. We have evidence for it. It is a thing that exists. But that ties into a bunch of other... The reason why people deny basic science facts like evolution existing and, you know, stuff like that is because it's for political reasons, basically. Yeah, we can switch to a different topic than that. Chris is heading down this section. I was trying to figure out, like, this whole area they're in right now, and I kind of had the idea that, like, Ralsei's castle is just kind of constantly expanding and then collapsing into ruins because it's not being used most of the time by people. So he's just got like a main castle, and it's just surrounded by like tons and tons of ruined spires and old stuff. I don't know if that will be clear or not, but that was my reasoning behind why this looks like the way it does. Why is this castle doing that? I don't know. Oh, thank you. I hope I'm writing them okay too. It's so hard to write them sometimes because we only have so much to go off of. Check how many followers he has on Instagram. Do they have Instagram in the dark world? Insta-dark. And Chris is like, I can deal with this, it's fine. I'm smart. Chris, it's not fine, you need to read the manual. You need to do it. One of the few times where you have to do the tutorial. I'll probably do a bunch of like black space there. Manual! We'll have macaroni for it and everything. Instagram. Like goat, I guess. What else rhymes with gram? Slam. Clam. Bam. Spam. I was working on ponies. They had all these pony puns for social media sites because now the ponies have social media. That's what the kids know. Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Oh my. You say it's more difficult to draw digitally? At this point, like, I used to be able to just draw only real life because that was all I had. Like, when I was growing up, I couldn't draw on a computer. Computers were not good enough for that at the time. I just had pencil and paper, and I did tons and tons of that. Nowadays, I'm so used to drawing digitally that going back to it, while not impossible, is a little bit trickier. Can't do that undo. So it's this weird dichotomy where basically I don't know if it looks as good as it would when I do it digitally, but it is in few ways more satisfying to draw real life. Like recently I was doing some painting actually. I was working on some acrylic stuff and some watercolor. I'm not going to post it because these are gifts for friends I was working on. And on the one hand, I'm like, oh, this feels so fun and nice to work with. On the other hand, I'm like, this is scary. I don't know if this is turning out very well. Oh. But it's like the actual act of doing real life painting is, I think, more satisfying than it is digital painting, even if the digital results might be faster and more likely to get something that looks good. But I really like doing traditional painting just for the very tactile feel of it. Oh, that's so funny. They knew their MLP. Yeah, that's another thing, is that paint is very messy. And also, just because it uses actual materials, you can go through stuff like you have to buy canvas, and you have to buy the paints, and you have to buy all the other stuff you do for it. So, but again, just for its own sake, it's a very nice tactile feeling to like just move your brush across canvas or paper and be like, ah, yes, the pretty color. So I was doing that recently, but I mostly just do digital. Yeah. Like, definitely there are aspects of digital that can kind of replicate that, but not fully. And again, I think the main advantages for digital are speed and basically making something that's production friendly. But yeah, there's no undo, so pretty much either, like, if you make a mistake, traditional painting, either you attempt to fix it, which often I feel like is very hard, or just live with it. But in some ways that's also kind of nice on its own, because then, like, you are not rushing. You are forced to slow down and really think about all the strokes you're putting down and what this is going to look like. And that in of itself is probably a good thing, because I draw way too fast, as evidenced by me going like, yeet, yeet, yeet. Yeah, it's nice to also have just like a record of your progress too. I'm gonna try zooming on the paper. I'm like, wait, I can't zoom in. This is as far as I can go with the details. Like, now I can see why people work with giant canvases sometimes. That way you can actually do good details, though. And it's hard to step out and do a bigger picture too. Oh yeah, I've definitely reached for undo on real pictures. Alright, I can probably just copy paste a little bit of this on the next one. Save a little bit of time. So rather this go smaller than bigger where it starts to look chunky. I just look too chunk. Just like my little lizard Alfie, she is too chunk. Yeah, maybe a little smaller. Paper animation, that's what I did in high school. I wrecked my wrist doing that too. Nice, nice. Yeah, that was the first animation I did. Well, not the first animation I did. I did a couple of just basic ones on paper, but in my senior year of high school, I pretty much went like, okay, you know what? I did my AP classes last year, and those were a big pain, but I got them done. I don't really want to do, you know, the nice honors courses. Yeah, Alfie's is very scrunkly. She's a jumbo. I was like, I don't really want to do, you know, the fancy, you know, honors courses. I've already proven I can get through that for the most part. And I really want to make an animated short. Like, I had this idea in my head, set to some epic Christmas music that I wanted to do an animated short. It was like 5 minutes long. And it was just me doing it, pretty much. Like, I had kind of help, but they didn't help very much, so it was mostly just me doing it. Where I was animating on paper, and then I would scan it in and color it in Photoshop. And by Photoshop, I mean, like, Photoshop 4. Like, really old Photoshop. And then I was putting it together in iMovie, which I would not recommend doing, because after a while I started to break iMovie in some really weird and disturbing ways. I've never seen that happen to a program before, but I really kind of wonked up iMovie there. It got weird, but I finished it, and I just spent like my school year working on that animation. Like, I took easy classes, and I didn't fill up my schedule, so I had some free schedules, but I took like the AP art block or whatever that was like a 2-hour block when we didn't have those kind of blocks for most of the time. So I was literally just working on this project for my senior year, and I finished it. Again, it was set to the Christmas music. I feel really weird even showing it now because it's from when I was in high school. The animation is not super good. I wasn't even doing keyframe animation. I was doing straight follow through on it, but it was basically like this. Like, I gave like a very brief, you know, summary or whatever at the beginning. But this boy on like this young Pegasus, and he's chasing down this big white bird, the snow phoenix, which, like, it's a phoenix, but it's made of snow. And basically trying to catch this creature so it will like grant him a wish or something. And it was mostly just trying to match the art to the music, kind of Fantasia style. So even now, when I still listen to that song, even though I listen to it into infinitum, just absolutely over listen to it because I was constantly listening to it to try and get the timing right. like, I still like that song. And I'm like, man, if I had the time, I would do it again, but better. But yeah, that's what my project was about. And luckily, both my teachers and my parents are like, sure, you can do that. So that's what I did. It was so long. It literally took me a year to do 5 minutes of animation, and I killed my wrists and also my computer in the process. Yeah, one like, it was kind of a song melody, but one of the songs was Carol of the Bells, and the other one was What Child Is This? But it was like a very intense version of them. And I was like, oh, I gotta do animations on this. So that's what I did. Yeah, like, it was... Oh, what the heck? I thought I copied you. Don't do this to me. But yeah, one of the songs for it was Carol of the Bells, which is S-tier Christmas music. I do not have a link to it on my YouTube. I feel very weird sharing it now because it is extremely old. I don't think the animation for it's very good anymore. It was good when I was in high school, but like 30 years on, I'm like, oh, no. So, sadly, that one might be lost to time. Like, maybe I'd post it sometime, but I honestly don't know. Because again, it's very, very old, at least to me. And very, very old art is like, oh, I don't want to show this. This doesn't look good to me anymore. Oh man, stop motion. I used to do that for fun too when I was, again, in high school. Basically, I would get all my toys together. We had a whole bunch of toys. Special ones, separate thing. We'd get all our toys together, and then we would just literally, film them stop motion by using the camera, taking a still photo, moving the toys, etc., etc. I tried all kinds of things. We tried stop motion. I tried machinima with Smash Brothers Melee back in the day. And it was a lot of fun just to try things. Oh, a song Pinky's Brew. That's old school. Old school pony. Yeah, definitely take care of your hands. Do not let your hands become horrified. I definitely, when I was working on that animation in high school, I think that was the start of messing up my hands because I was drawing so much. And also, actually, what's probably the worst part was because I didn't have a tablet at the time. I was coloring stuff in Photoshop with the mouse. And the mouse is really not good for hand health. So I quickly got to the point where it was, seriously hurting me. And that's actually when I got my first tablet. I think my grandparents gifted it to me. Because I was like, I want to make this animation, but I can't use the mouse anymore. And yeah, an animatic you could make with iMovie. But a full animation with single frames, I killed the program. Yeah, that's the thing is if you're just really stuck on making things, you kind of forget to take care of yourself until it's too late and your body's like, no, stop it, I refuse. Which is literally why I do my get up every half hour and stretch thing now. I pretty much have to, and I can't do 14-hour days anymore. I somehow did in my first season of Ponies. Why did I do that? That was nuts. Well, I mean, I know why I did it, but I still don't know I don't know how I did it. Yeah, I have a routine. There's a couple different things. I also stretch my neck because that all kind of connects down into your hands. So I stretch my neck, a little bit of my back, and my hands. There's a lot of the usual things up and down. I do basically a bunch of stuff that my physical therapist taught me when I was first recovering because I injured my arm so badly. Yeah, yeah. If you have that buzzy feeling in your hands, that is your nerves basically being like, oh, that is definitely go to the doctor time. That is your body saying, no, stop what you're doing. Kind of like weird tingly feeling, or if your hands feel like really cold and numb kind of thing. That's kind of what happened to me too. That might have been stress. Basically signs of like repetitive stress injury in your wrist, which is what I got. At least in my case, was like my hand or arm having pain, feeling cold or numb, or tingly, like just kind of like a buzzing or uncomfortable kind of pinging sensation. Yeah, cold is a problem. Cold is a problem. You basically your hands should not feel, especially if you're using it, your hands and fingers should not feel colder than like the rest of your body. And that is something I still feel on occasion. I'm like, ah, shoot, my fingers are cold. I hate it. And again, there's lots of things you can do for that. You can do the stretches. You can do temperature therapy, where you put your whole arm in like hot and cold water, alternating. Yeah, but if you have naturally cold hands, then like usually both your hands are the same temperature. Like I'll notice a thing where like my right hand is significantly colder than my left, or my right arm is significantly colder than my left arm. And that is what causes that is the nerves that control your hand, and your fingers are having all this pressure put on them, and so they're kind of reacting like, ugh, there's too much pressure, ugh, because your muscle is pressing against the nerve because it's inflamed. That's also why muscle stuff is good too, like stuff that takes care of your muscle, to try and reduce the inflammation in your muscle. I actually signed up for some massage therapy, probably for my neck and stuff, but I wouldn't hurt to try my wrist as well. Just because that's all important. Honestly, right now I'm just kind of going through lines and stuff. If you guys want me to move on to another page or go back to the other character stuff and do colors, let me know. I am open to things. Right now I'm just like, yeah, I'm having fun doing my favorite thing, which is clean lines. Discord server in the chat? Yeah, I can do that. I wonder if there's a way I can set that up with the bot. Like, I know there's some bots you can do, sort of thing, where you can be like, hey, if somebody asks for Discord thing, here's the link to it. I'm not sure how to do that. I'll have to look that up, because I know I've seen other streamers do that, where you set up just a little bot that'll link it to your socials or your Discord or something. So I'll try and see if I can figure that out at some point, because that's actually a good idea. My line one makes you hungry. Make sure you eat noms. Alright, I'm doing special lines here that will need to be recolored later. Yeah. If you guys want to share the Discord, go ahead. I think right now it's still on the, Lynx doesn't expire thing. But, I don't know, maybe that's a project that, Desmond and Striga can help with, because I know they do bots very well. So they can probably point me in the direction of a good Twitch bot that just does that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, I should at least add it to my About page too. Like, I know I got links to some of my socials. on there, but I think I can add Discord, so I could do that. That at least I know how to add. Not so much of a dummy about. Trying to click the link. But yeah, it would be good to have a bot be able to do that. It's a Susie! How long is this comic going to be? This is... Shan't. This comic is 13 pages long in 3 parts. And I've roughed out all the backgrounds for it. This is probably not going to be full color. It'll probably be like kind of the blue scale monochrome color like I did for the character, or the story setup kind of stuff, just to keep it consistent, but it's not quite grayscale. I'll include some little black and white though. So this is just a short 3-part one about meeting Susie. It doesn't go very well for Chris. It does not end happily. At least in the first part. In the third part, they finally get to talking. I'm like, okay, this covers a couple different things, so we can do a full comic of that. What type of species is Susie? Like in canon? She's a Yoshi. She has a big round snout. She has a short nubby tail. She has boots. And she eats everything. So she's a Yoshi. Waha. Actually, and in actuality, like I made this joke on Twitter, and it got some stuff. She throws up eggs. So that's my joke version. My actual version is I think she's a dragon. But yeah, that's my joke answer. She's a Yoshi. The Yoshi Menace. That's who I made in Smash. Yeah, I do think she's a dragon, for a couple of reasons. Like, dinosaur are also possible. I think she's a dragon for, one, How to Draw Dragons book keeps coming up, including something that Asriel picked out. 2, there's the possibility that she set something on fire with the spin cake. 3, her axe is called, the main axe. The description for that is forged from the mane of a dragon whelp, and considering the fact that it's probably a hairbrush from her hair, that she would be the dragon whelp, which would make her a dragon. Big teeth. Almost like grayscale with the orange. Oh, it's my stretch time. It flew by. I gotta do it. Hey, a Komodo dragon is a kind of dragon. That's true. I love Komodo dragons. They're the best. I was like, when I was a little kid, I'm like, what's your favorite animals? And my favorite animal is sharks, and sharks are still my favorite animal, but I was into Komodo dragons. And like, I had this long-running comic series when I was a little kid, and it was primarily like a, funny animals thing with like dogs and cats and stuff in the city. But I also had 2 Komodo dragons as part of the gang. Just, they were there because I was like, they're cool. I'm going to add Komodo dragons to my comic about mostly cats and dogs. And I did 600 pages of that comic, so even when I was a little kid, I'm like, well, time to draw hundreds of pages of comics. No one stopped me yet. Here I go. Yeah, I mean, maybe the cake burning was just for comedic effect. That's totally possible. But I think the biggest piece of evidence is the main act's description. That's a little bit of a thing there. I would face off against a Dark Lord. I mean, I don't know if you're talking about the Knight or not. Dragon Whelp is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Oh, Toby throws in tons of obscure references, so who knows? Yeah, I mean, Dark Lord's a little vague. I guess it depends. Like, I think the worlds they're going to be going to will make a difference. I think good candidates for future Dark Worlds are... I mean, obviously they're at the Dreamer house now, so the TV. I think there'll be one in Asgore's shop. I think there'll be one in the hospital. And I think there'll be one at the church. I think those are all good possibilities. Aw, thank you. I'm glad that comic helped. She got little tiny wings. Alright, I'll be right back, actually. I gotta do one more stretch. I'm coming back. Alright, I'm back to it. Final boss is Topi Doggo. Oh no! Not the cake! Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna get something interesting with Gaster. Maybe we'll finally see what he looks like. We have the Mystery Man thing, but we don't know that the Mystery Man is actually Gaster. I think it probably is safe to say that he is, but we don't know for sure. Gaster's Chris's dad. No! No, Chris. I am your father. That's impossible! What's your favorite blood type? Like, thanks, Gaster. But yeah, I've totally switched my thinking on who Gaster is in Delta. I think he is supposed to be the devil, or at least is just like the devil, the role of the devil. People are like, oh, he's a scientist. I'm like, he is in Undertale. We don't know what he is in Deltarune. He's just the devil. Yeah. Just basically making the Gaster noise from their cell phone. Or suspiciously Noel inspired. I mean, he sounds a little bit like a scientist, but I actually feel like the whole Goner Maker sequence feels more contractual than like he's conducting an experiment. Feels like, oh, okay, you're set. You want this? You want this? Is this what you want? Okay, this is what you get, kind of thing. it feels more like you're making a contract with somebody than you're helping with an experiment, which leans into the devil thing for me. Like, he sounds vaguely scientific in the sense of, like, you know, survey program kind of thing, but it still feels more baity than properly scientific. Yeah. Or even just between, like, darkners and lightners, like, different levels of reality. So basically the dark world is kind of like a, you know, a fictional space where fiction becomes reality. And what does that look like for us, where Eldritchrune is a fictional universe to us? Where is that line between fiction and reality there? Hello, thank you for coming. Yeah, it's unknown if he's doing this because he's curious or if he wants something from the player and or Chris and or Susie and Noelle, since they're also mentioned. Meta-narrative. Yeah. I mean, the punch bowl thing could also be from, the festival. Oh, it's a loud version of Pennsylvania. Could also be from the festival, since I have a pretty good feeling that's going to be a future chapter, if we're already supposed to be, like, setting up for it and stuff like that. But it's also possible that that is for the dance. They have food at church, but usually you don't have stuff in a punch bowl at church unless it's like a church function. Susie is the true main character. I think what Susie is that makes her special in terms of Eldritchrune's narrative is that she defies the narrative. Like, there's obviously, like, a certain narrative that Rouse feels like they should be having, that they're going to go in, and trusts that Chris will be the one to do that. And Susie is the one who basically breaks the narrative and is like, nah, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. And I think her tendency and ability to do that is going to be important. Yep, Susie defies all authority, including the mechanics of the universe. Honestly, I feel like that's another reason why, like, Suzelle works so well, like, and why that's actually kind of an important aspect of it, of the story, is because, like, obviously, like, they're trying. I think I saw a really good Tumblr post of somebody explaining this. I'm probably explaining it badly, but basically, like, the thing with Noelle is that she's obviously setting up, you know, certain tropes in fantasy and fiction. Like the girl, again, her theme is literally the girl next door, the princess, that kind of stuff, you know. But what Susie does is basically indicate to her, you know, you don't have to play this role. You can be whatever you want to be. So it's an interesting dichotomy of, like, instead of just like Susie is the knight in this situation and Noelle's the princess, but instead of, you know, the knight basically taking the princess off to their own version of being controlled, the knight is the one, the knight is the one that's basically telling the princess, I'll show you how to defy things and be your own person. And I think that in and of itself is, like, important. Susie as a knight is a pretty low on most people's assumption of who the knight is. Even though the game is like, Susie, Dark Knight. Maybe Toby should have picked a different word for whoever the knight is, because a lot of people in the narrative are described as knights, and that might get confusing. but maybe not. I mean, Berdley's also like, I'm your knight in glow-in-the-dark armor. Berdley's the knight? Yeah. Hey, like Night Knight from Undertale. We'll see. Definitely people have lots of theories on who the knight is. I don't think it's Gaster anymore, personally. Yeah. I think that's definitely why a lot of the characters admire Susie's, again, because she's like, screw what people have told you you're going to be. I'm going to do whatever I want, even though it makes life harder for her. And I think, again, a lot of these other characters, I think Noelle definitely, and Chris definitely, and even Berdley to some extent, feel trapped in their identities. And part of the narrative will be them learning to define who they are as people. Something that's very relevant to, teenage characters as it is. But that's why Susie is so popular, is because she doesn't let society, she doesn't let rules, she doesn't let the narrative tell her what she's supposed to do and how she's supposed to act. And I think, too, the other characters, again, like Chris and Noelle, that feel trapped by who they're supposed to be, then obviously that's very appealing. I know, they're gonna come out at some point. I just hope Toby tells us when so I can take time off of work to go to play them. Hello. And yes, I'm working on a bunch of Eldritchrune stuff. We had some character portraits we're doing. I think I'm just doing clean lines today. Maybe if we have time we'll get to some other stuff too. Short one on introducing Chris to Susie. It does not go well. But then it gets better. Yeah. And definitely Susie, I think, has her own things she has to work on. Like, I think Susie feels trapped by her identity in ways that are different from Noelle and Chris, and that she feels like she has to be this bad guy because she doesn't fit in with, a lot of what society expects from her. And basically because of that, she thinks, well, I'm just unlikable. I'm just, who would even want to be friends with me? I'm the bad person. For all the reasons that might entail. But what Noelle and Chris have to teach her in terms is that who she is worthy of love and care. I get the feeling that not many people have told her that in her life. I know. I wish I could make video essays too. I have a lot to talk about. I would be like, oh, it'd be kind of neat to I really like to compare Undertale and Deltarune's themes. I think something that trips up a lot of people when trying to work out Deltarune is that they kind of assume that they have the same themes, and they don't at all. So I think being able to point out, okay, these are the themes of Undertale, these are the themes of Deltarune, they are not the same, would be a helpful thing. I could see Susie being final boss in the weird route, yeah. Because again, she defies the narrative. My thoughts on Susie when I first played Chapter 1? Well, when we first started, I was like, oh, she really hit me with that intimidation stuff in the beginning, and I wasn't sure about her. But she definitely grew on me with time. I think she actually softened a lot more between Chapters 1 and 2 than even I was anticipating. So it really drives home how much she actually does want friends. But yeah, she had a really good character arc in Chapter 1. Basically, her coming to realize, oh wait, I actually do want to care about people. Even though, that then means that I have to be careful and not hurt others sometimes. Yeah, Susie definitely went through the most character arc stuff in chapter 1, and maybe she'll have even more in the future. But yeah, definitely we need to figure out what's going on with Chris. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more with their family in next chapter. Susie kind of hints at it anyway with mentioning that, hey, your family's weird. So we'll get something about their family. Whoop. Okay, we got the lines done on this one. Yay! Phew! Yeah, definitely with Susie, like, we need to find out about her past home life stuff. That's all very relevant. I kind of wonder, can I copy... Maybe I can copy the background from this into that one so I don't have to redraw. I don't know, I feel like some stuff with Chris should be kind of obvious by this point. Like, it should be clear, at the very least, to people that have played both chapters, that Chris and the player, this is not a, you know, Frisk situation like Undertale. That Chris is their own character with their own past and history. Yeah, this doesn't line up at all, never mind. Yeesh, fine. Guess we'll do this the hard way. Yeah, I guess something that maybe people don't quite recognize yet is that the player is diegetic to Deltarune, and that this is important. Yeah, it's true. People who want to misgender Chris, they're like, oh no, I can project onto them all I want. It's like, no, the point is that they're actually their own person with their own history and their own wants and needs. It's kind of an important aspect and ties into the themes. Yeah, not everybody's watched the live stream, I guess, either. Well, live stream was fun. I kind of wonder what they're going to do this year for the anniversary. I should think of art to do as well. Yeah, I do sometimes wish that he would just really clarify it and be like, they're non-binary, they use they, them pronouns, stop asking about it. But at the same time, I understand why he doesn't do that, and why he, in general, is very careful about what he says in the fandom. Like, apparently there was, like, a whole big to-do just with like, that Legends of Localization book, and, like, one line set people into a tizzy, so they actually kind of removed that bit. Because people were arguing about what that meant. Yeah. I really wish people would get that. I'm still getting asked people, like, use he, and I'm like, guys, please. We've had years of this. Please. You should know better. Oh, I'm trying to remember what line it was. I haven't read the Legend of Localization book, so I don't know. This is just stuff I've seen floating around Twitter. But there was something in the localization process they mentioned that people got kind of pent up about in terms of like what this means for the lore or whatever, and as a result I think they removed it, but I don't remember what the line was specifically. I think it was something about like, it was something about the separation of like you know, Frisk, Kara, and the player as all three separate entities or something like that, and I don't know. Yeah, the pronouns get kind of funky, too. Susie does use some masculine pronouns in Japanese. Yeah, and honestly, it'd be kind of nice if, you know, masculine NBs are a thing. You don't have to look just like girl plus, you know, there's more to non-binaryism than just that. so Chris can certainly look masculine. Doesn't mean they are masculine. Japan does have neutral pronouns. Yeah, I know that can be a problem, like, for some languages that don't have neutral pronouns, that only have masculine and feminine. And I feel like in that sense, probably depends on, like, the language, but the solution I've seen most people use for it is just use the masculine because, like, in a lot of cases in that language, it also stands for the neutral. But that probably depends on the language. And you get into German where it's like all nouns have a gender, and that gender can be masculine, feminine, or neutral. Good luck figuring out which is which. Our chair's masculine, feminine, or neutral? Mm-hmm. You'll just have to learn. And yeah, I imagine that a lot of translations like mix stuff. Just mix the pronouns to keep people on their toes. Yeah, although I wonder at what age Chris was adopted at, because I feel like it was pretty young. I feel like they probably were like 4 or 5, like pretty young when they were adopted. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, language itself is a very complicated thing that has, like, histories and culture and stuff behind it, so while language is always changing, it's often difficult to force it to change in a certain direction. It kind of goes that way naturally. Yeah, I like the fact that basically they had either option for church clothes, and hey, that kind of happened in canon because basically if you do the get better action with the Viro-Kun or such in Cyber City, Chris can either have a nurse or a doctor outfit. And not that, doctors are male and nurses are female kind of thing, but it kind of at least shows that they have a lot of clothing choice in how they do their outfits. Yeah, it's cool. It's just kind of random which one you get whenever you do that action. So even then, you're thinking about it. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised he is because, like, guy grew up in the Homestuck fandom where that was, a whole thing. Grew up. I mean, he was pretty much part of a Homestuck fandom. But yeah, I'm glad he is too. Because goodness knows that's a rarity in a lot of places. So yeah, while I do wish he was more forthcoming about, like, this character is this stuff and this character is this stuff, like, I do understand why he doesn't do that. I think if he did do that, it might make his life harder, and, like, nobody needs to deal with that. Yeah, he just seems like a genuinely really nice guy. At least from what I mean, I don't know him personally, so maybe I'm totally off. But, at least from what I've read from, like, interviews and stuff that he's given, I'm like, okay, this seems like somebody who is, one, like, empathetic and trying to, think about how other people feel, which I think is an important thing. And, 2 is, like, kind of has a relatable sense of humor. Like, at least for some of the interview stuff he described, like, stuff he would do as a kid, I was like, oh, that's the kind of thing I would do when I was a kid. Like, very specific kind of stories kind of thing. Even when, Chapter 1 of Deltarune first came out, when they showed all the toys on the floor kind of stuff, I always got the sense that, like, that was how I played with a bunch of toys and stuff when I was younger with my little brother. Have these big epic stories where just random things that weren't supposed to have personalities did have personalities. So I felt very seen, I guess is what I'm saying. That's why I always get a little confused when people are like, oh, Toby would be such a troll. Toby would do this mean thing. I'm like, would he? He hasn't really done, because no, evidence shows that he wouldn't. He's literally talked about how he wasn't sure if he wanted to go into making games because he didn't know if that would be very helpful to people. And has literally said that, like, the most interesting thing for him making games are empathetic subversions of RPG tropes. And I think the empathetic part is important. I don't think he's a troll. I don't think he's telling things to be mean. Yeah, chaotic for sure. And I think that feeds into the humor. But I don't think he's mean-spirited. Okay. Oh, got almost through these backgrounds. And that's a rare thing to deal with. I think maybe oftentimes sincerity is a difficult thing for people to grasp. And I think that's because, like, when you're sincere, you're very vulnerable. And a lot of people do not want to do that, so I think we should appreciate sincerity when it shows up. Strive to be like a dog. Unless you're a dog in a little red car running down people. Don't do that. It took me so long to find that part in chapter 2, too. I'm like, I gotta get to the part where Toby kills me. Because it'll be funny. But I was mostly getting killed anyway from all the traffic areas. I'm like, oh man, I want to find, like, all the little secrets, like the eggs and all that stuff. But I'm not very good at finding those. I need somebody else to help me. Yeah, literally an Easter egg. I guess they're just plain white eggs. Wouldn't they be painted if they were Easter eggs? Yeah, that's the thing, is like when you make content, or I hate the word content, when you make stories that make people feel, again, there's really no way to do that without making yourself vulnerable, because you always put a little personal piece of yourself into it. Yeah, I hope they're not too difficult in terms of stuff, because I'm bad at video games. But I hope that they're... Oh, is it my time already? Good grief, time just flies. Alright, well, I'm almost done with backgrounds in this at least. I might get my muffins in a bit. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing I should probably do when I first play, the next chapters, is just, like, go back to other rooms and check things, because there's always little secrets hidden back there. If you backtrack, and I tend to just plow through, because I'm like, I gotta see what happens next. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take time off of work to be like, I'm sorry, I'm using my vacation days. I gotta play a video game, it's very important. Yeah, heck, I didn't even find the Spamton boss fight the first time I played through. I was kind of like, oh, wait, there's another boss fight? Where? How do I find it? I totally skipped it. Same with Jebel. Not good at finding that stuff. So I'm hoping that maybe in these next chapters I can be very thorough in exploring things and be like, okay, let's figure out all that we need to find here. Not the DR universe. I don't know if I'd want to be in a fictional universe. I guess Eldritchrune universe wouldn't be that bad in terms of fictional universe to be in. There's worse ones out there for sure. Yeah, I didn't even know where Spantum's shop was. I literally just encountered him in the alley, and I'm like, well, that was weird, and I went on with my life. It's like, oh wait, there's all this extra stuff here. You gotta go looking for it. You gotta go find it. Okay. I might, when I go do my other stretch, I might stuff a muffin in my face really quick. I need muffin noms. Alright, be right back. Okay. We're coming back to it. Long dialogue. Oh, excuse me. I was eating my muffin, and as I was unwrapping it, the chocolate chip just fell right out of the muffin and on my floor, and I was like, no! I lost my chip. It just fell right out of the muffin. No chocolate. Well, there were other chocolate chips. There was just the one. Like if every chocolate chip fell out of the muffin, that would be kind of really weird. How'd you manage that? But no chocolate for that chocolate chip. Every chocolate chip on Earth on my floor. How does that work? How did this happen? Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Backgrounds aren't super fun for me to draw, but I can't help but spend a lot of time on them anyway because that was my job for like 2 years. Was background design. So now I'm like, I can't just have them standing in a void. They have to be on a background. Otherwise, how will we know where they are in space? Also, it's kind of important for boards too. My true name. Now you have the power to, I don't know. yeah, definitely do a lot of background stuff for storyboarding too. But storyboarding is kind of a, you have to know how to draw a little bit of everything, at least well enough that people can know what it looks like. Alright, on to the characters. Yeah, that's the problem, is a lot of people don't like doing them. Some people do like doing them and are pretty good about them. I know at least one friend who does background design for, she did it for the Ponies movie, and right now she's doing it for, like, Star Trek, the animated Star Trek shows. And it's very good with that. But a lot of people don't like doing backgrounds, and I'm kind of one of them. But yeah, I've gotten used to doing them because, again, literally that was my job for 2 years. I was a background designer on a bunch of Fox, or knockoff Fox animated shows, like Axe Cop and stuff like that. And so I was like, alright, I'm drawing backgrounds 8 hours a day. So I got used to them. Chris is like, I'll be fine. I definitely won't get chomped. I definitely did not think this through. Yeah, I've heard, like, listen, when I've heard the animated Star Trek show. Oh, well, not the, there's a couple of them. The one I'm thinking about is Lower Decks, the 2D one. Like, I know there's some good non-binary rep in the 3D animated show. But I'm not sure what the rep is like in the 2D show, just because that one is supposed to be like a humor take on it. But I hope it's that one, because that'd be cool for it to have some good ace rep. Eldritch Shoesy little steppy steps. I have to answer and ask sometimes. Somebody's like, does having a lizard influence how you drew Eldritch Susie? And I'm kind of like, yeah, kind of, because like when running, they like do this thing where like they kind of flail their limbs out. Like they kind of windmill their limbs when they run. They take very, very wide stances. And so it's kind of, they're very silly. They have very silly runs. So I can't help but do that. I'm like, no, but when lizards run, they look so silly. Little steppies. Runs at you with wide stance. All lizards have wide stance. Oh, that's so funny. I should watch Lower Decks then. Actually, looks kind of cute. I know they have like a dolphin crewmates and stuff like that. But yeah, I mostly know Lower Decks because I have a friend who paints backgrounds for that show. Oh, terrible finger there. What the heck is going on with that? Stop that. A little better. Oh, that's so funny. Well, I'm glad there's some ace rep in that show. I should watch it. I need more ace rep in my life. Goodness knows it's hard enough to find as it is. I would certainly be down for Eldritchrune character being ace, although I think the best I think it'd be really funny if Asriel was Arrow Ace, considering he's like the ladies' man. And he's like, all the ladies want Asriel too bad. He's ace. Especially after, like, you know, Pizza Pants really hyped him up. He's like, I like cruising around town with Azzy, looking at the ladies. And Azzy was just like, I just wanted to go for a nice drive. Pizza Pants is just weird. Yeah. I'm like, what's a human ace character I can think of? I think of basically a Todd from BoJack Horseman. It's kind of the prime example. Which is also kind of nice because, like, you actually see his journey as he's working out that he's ace and stuff like that. But there's not that many. Okay, they're pretty, now what? And also would make it funny that, like, Toriel just flipped out about the fact that he was, you know, kissing, it was Bratty, wasn't it? He was kissing Bratty. When maybe he was like, okay, I tried that. I don't know how big I was into it, though. I don't know. That's probably not the direction they would go. But I would appreciate Arrow Ace Asriel. I think that'd be fun. I guess we'll see. I've seen some people like, you know, have it where Azzy meets either Frisk or Kara at college and is like into them and stuff like that. Toriel thinks Adriel's withholding for marriage. He is not. My only thing about with Frisk or Kara being in this universe is I don't think they exist in this universe. I think that's who Chris is supposed to be, basically. Probably more like that Chris is this universe's Kara, but basically stands in for them both. Frisk and Kara are made up by the government to sell more Undertale. It's Eldritch time. Sometimes puberty do be like that. See, it is working. They are selling more Undertale. Actually, I should watch more Adventure Time too. I started it, like I did, I think the first season or so, and I didn't finish the whole series though. Finished a bunch of series, but not that one. I guess I finally finished Owl House. That was extremely good. I gotta get through more of Bluey. Because Bluey's been my lunchtime watchings. It's so comfy. Susie especially should be allowed to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet. I'm just like, please stop. And she's like, you said all you can eat. I will not be stopped. And I'll take the rest home with me. And I'll say, like, please. You should look at this first. It's a birthday gift. I know, it's like, come on. Let Susie have ham sandwiches. Hey, Chris, stick to the script. You'll regret it. Monster-friendly all-you-can-eat buffet. Why was she banned from free ham sandwich day? Give her the ham sandwiches. She needs them. Ham sandwiches and jam sandwiches, exactly. How about ham and jam sandwiches? Actually, I don't know if that sounds very good. Susie would eat it anyway, though. Someone please feed this child. Give them ham sandwiches. Yeah, I think she is a carnivore. I just wonder if they will expand on that at all. And honestly, I think that also kind of feeds into the idea that I don't think monsters in the Deltarune universe are made of magic. I think they're just physical. They have basic physical things, like some are carnivorous and some have certain food needs, like the whole thing with Caddy's dad mentioning that they can't eat oranges because like they had to get their stomachs pumped. Well, that doesn't seem relevant if you're made of magic, or at least if it is, they didn't mention that in Undertale. And I think it's just simpler if they are just physical beings and they're not made of magic, and that magic is a Dark World thing. Like, because I feel like the point of them being made of magic in Undertale served the purpose of the plot, which is that monster souls are different from human souls. They're a lot weaker, which is why humans can do what they do in Undertale and, you know, hurt them that way, and, you know, why the rules are the way they are. But this is a different universe, and this is not, I don't think those rules would serve a purpose in the same way. And it, at least from the way Queen makes it sound like all Lightners have the same kind of soul. They all have the same ability of determination. Like, determination is not a factor the same way that it is in Undertale. That basically monsters and humans are just different kinds of people, not fundamentally different in terms of like magic and souls and stuff. Like, the magic stuff is extremely relevant to Undertale's story. So far, that hasn't been seen to be relevant to Deltarune's. Jockington gets all the live mice and eggs. Yeah, does he need to eat live mice? He's a snakey? Sure, he can probably eat eggs. I know a lot of snakes eat eggs. I know somebody, like, recently, messaged me, like, wait a minute, are there actual animals in Deltarune? I'm like, yeah, probably. Especially since, like, you know, it mentions Toriel's using pet shampoo. That means there's pets, which would not be monsters, those would be actual animals. And if they have stuff like burgers and pizza and all that stuff, you know, you need cheese and meat for that. You just get that from an animal. It's just much simpler to be like, yeah, there's animals, they're just not the same as monsters. Yeah, I don't know if there's a... I'm not convinced right now that there is a material difference between monster and human souls in Deltarune. Because I don't think there would be a story reason for that to be. Funny you should say that when we're talking about Eldritchrune, Susie, because that's actually her deal. That's when things get weird and freaky. Probably do the other stuff in a different file, or a different layer. Oh Lord, she coming! Susie Steppy! She's stomping! She's stomping towards you! Chris is like, I see you stomping. Or just slapping the ground. Although lizards only do that skittery thing on very slippery ground. You have to run. Slap, 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 slap. Girl, calm down. That poor dragon, though. I don't think that dragon should have been Well, it was very funny to see them run like that. That bearded dragon was probably not being taken care of the best, because basically in the video, the way that it's like bobbing its head and slapping the ground with its beard black like that, that basically means that it really wants to mate. It wants to get down and busy. And unless you're actually planning on breeding the bearded dragons, maybe don't get them into that breeding frenzy. Oh yeah, I was gonna draw them at the barbecue place. That kind of got discarded. Maybe in the future. What do you do if your pet is horny? Depends on the pet. I mean, that's why you want to get animals like dogs and cats fixed, is because you know, they'll go through heat otherwise, and that's not great for them because it's uncomfortable and they get rambunctious and messy and they smell as they're putting off all them pheromones and stuff like that. Like we had well, by we I mean me and roommates had a cat once that for whatever reason we hadn't gotten it fixed before he went into heat, and he was a bit of a menace, especially around the other cats. I think we got him fixed after that. But with a lizard, the thing is, like, you just don't house them together like a male and a female unless you're planning on breeding them, because it's a lot more difficult to fix a lizard than it is like cats or dogs. Like cats or dogs, it's safe and you should do it, but smaller animals, it's much riskier to do that. So basically, if they're going to be obnoxious about breeding, just don't expose them to other animals. Although honestly, sometimes you can't help that. Like a friend sent me a video recently that was cute, but it was also because it was basically a bearded dragon, a boy bearded dragon that was clearly in love with a sock and thought the sock was a lady dragon because he was, you know, slapping and head bobbing and basically biting at the nape of the sock and hugging it in a way that was like he was trying to mate with the sock. And it was cute, but it's also like, I guess that's the best you can do. Like, I don't know if taking away the sock would be good or not, but definitely that was, you are a lady dragon and I want to have eggs with you behavior. If the males are bobbing their heads a bunch and their beards are very black, that basically either means let's fight, I don't like you, or let's fuck, I want to get with you. Just depends. How to tell your waifu is a sock. That's usually why they tell you, like, don't house beardies together unless, like, if they're babies, then it's fine. But, like, adult bearded dragons are territorial, so especially if you have, like, oh no, she coming! If you got, like, multiple male dragons together, they can get in fights, and it's not very good. Oh, my tasty drawing. Are they trying to eat Chris like Susie is? They taste like apples. Oh Lord, she coming. She stomping her way over. Chris should have read the manual first. Never touch any of his things again. Man, I wish we had been able to get Alphys to lay those eggs she had. It would have been a lot easier than her having to get surgery. I think that was more stressful. Oh no. Well, chameleons, from what I understand, are also very sensitive. They're, in terms of lizards, they're, like, beardies and, you know, leopard geckos and the more common ones, they're pretty hardy. You know, you can take care of them okay with proper setups or, you know, some turtles. But to my understanding, chameleons are actually, very, very sensitive. So if you don't have the right setup for them, they're a lot more susceptible to disease and stuff like that. So reasons why I'll probably never get a chameleon. I think that'd be a little too stressful. Oh. Which of Ralph says My Little Pony toys that it'd probably be Applejack because it tastes like apples. But also Pinkie Pie looks like a cake. And it's called pie. So she's like, oh, it could be pie. I think she might have ranked them with, like, probably not rarity because rarity looks like toothpaste. Probably tastes like toothpaste. Which, you know, not unheard of, but save that for last. Minty fresh. Fluttershy looks kind of sounds like butter. Could be good. Like Buttershy. Yeah, she said toothpaste probably, but you know, you save the toothpaste for last. Not sure about Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash's mystery flavor. Susie's MLP ranking video based on how good they taste. Rainbow Dash Skittles. Twilight's probably at the bottom of the pile because she's probably Goofy Grape, and nobody likes grape. Grape is the worst flavor. Sorry, Twilight. Stop making grape candy. I like actual grapes. At least I like green grapes. Like you get a nice batch of fresh green grapes and just nom nom nom. Those are very satisfying. I like actual grapes. But just grape flavored candy. I don't know what it is. It's just not great. We had this big arguments about this in my work chat. Like, they're like, oh, what candies do you like? And we were talking about candy flavors, and people really got on to me for liking Twizzlers. They're like, that's the worst. I'd rather throw them in a landfill than give them to you. I'm like, dude, you hating on me for my Twizzlers. They're like, you should have actual licorice. I'm like, I don't want actual licorice. I want the Twizzlers. I don't care if they're not real licorice. Stop hating on my Twizzlers. Best flavors for candy, though. Watermelon and peach. You often can't go wrong with those. Those are pretty good. Sprout looks very trustworthy. The Twizzlers will come and twizzle you with their wizard spells. Oh, by the way, more G5 is finally coming out, including some episodes I worked on that look pretty good. Although I'm kind of worried that they're advertising the special for it more first, because you should watch the special after the episodes because plot relevance. So watch the special after the episodes. I'm kind of worried because of the special is the one they're gonna, like, you know, push all the merchandise for, because it's a Woodstock kind of thing. So, you know, do all that. So this is my warning to you: if you watch My Little Pony new episodes coming out, watch the episodes first, then watch the special. Because the special should take place after the episodes. At least that's what was hammered into me story-wise. No. Well, G4 finished. G5 is still going on. I don't know what the heck Hasbro is doing in terms of this release date. It's kind of all over the place, and I probably shouldn't say very much in a public venue without doing that kind of stuff, because basically it's frustrating to me. It's kind of frustrating. Whatever the heck Hasbro is doing, this is definitely not a thing the artists are doing. We want it all out in a proper format. NDAs are fun. They are. But I hope people watch it and like it. Because we're coming up to some episodes that like the first first 8 or so that were out were pretty fun, and those turned out good. No detail us everything. The first 8 were pretty fun, but I feel like some people really were coming more into their own and storytelling and animation wise in later episodes. And there's some scenes and shots in like episodes of, I guess it'd be 9 through 16 for this, where I was pretty happy with how they came out. Oh, wait. Oh, it's my stretch time already. Time flies. Okay, stretch time. And NDA stands for nice dude, all should know. Oh, I'm not setting my timer. I'm trying to do my breaks with ad breaks so that I'm not drawing, so that I'm stretching during the ads. And I try and keep track of that. But I'm not sure if I'm getting the ads properly or not. I'm trying. Have I ever gone to a Pride Parade? I have not. I'm a bit of a homebody. I'd be willing to go to one. I know that Vancouver has some. Although I think they don't do it in June. They do it in August for here for some reason. Pride Month is a different month. I don't know who decided that, but somebody did. But I'd be willing to go to one. Maybe meet some other aces and arrows. But again, I'm a lonely little shut-in homebody artist type, so you gotta put in some effort to get me to go out into big old social gatherings. I might find more arrows at an archery competition. I probably would, but not the kind of arrows I'm looking for. Yeah, especially like June. That's a hot month, so I guess you really got to make sure that you are hydrated and got your sunscreen and all that stuff, because with it being so hot in the summer and also just a lot of energy and stuff going on, I imagine it gets pretty hot in more ways than one. But yeah, like if an air jam session would be neat. But yeah, like if some of my other friends who are queer were like, hey, we're going to a Pride Parade, do you want to come? And if it was with enough, like prep time so I could mentally prepare myself for something that big and social, then yeah, I'd give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a try. I don't think it's just drinking and kissing. I'm sure there's a lot of things for it. Like, it's a little something for everybody kind of thing. Alright, I'll be right back again.
No, Fees, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Gotta massage the muscle. That makes sweating is gross. No, sweating's not very fun. not the most fun thing in the world. But yeah. Wouldn't mind trying a furry convention either. Probably harder for me to get to because, well, I have plenty of friends who are queer. Because, you know, we work in animation, that's how it goes. Less so those who would be at a furry con, so. That means I would have to go by myself, and that's hard. I don't want to do that by myself. But I know there's probably some furry cons up here. It's a big city, they tend to have big cons. It's the ground. Yeah, honestly, ugh. That is definitely a thing, too, especially right now. I don't know how accurate this is, but I saw a recent infographic of like, here's where all the provinces are in terms of infection rates, and the one I'm in was just off the charts bad, and I'm like, oh great, oh, I don't want to go out and do stuff now. Everybody's infected. I already had COVID once and it sucked. It sucks so much. I don't want to do that again. Not if I can help it. So I'm like, it's so frustrating the numbers are that high. Yeah, I've been avoiding cons too. Probably the most crowded places I went was when I went to my brother's surprise birthday party in Vegas. And so they did, even though mostly I was just kind of walking around by myself, exploring. We did some things like Katy Perry concert and all this other stuff where there was a lot of people, and I was like the only person there wearing a face mask. I don't know how I didn't get COVID from that. I didn't. I got it from something else. I don't even know what. Yeah, I have gone to the theater once. Like we went and saw the D&D movie with some friends. We were there with masks, and I am gonna go see the new Spider-Verse next weekend. So I probably won't do a stream next weekend because I'll be seeing the movie. But I'm gonna go with my coworkers for work-related reasons. But when I'm in the movie theater, I have still the mask on. Makes it hard to eat snacks, though. The most stressful place, though, is airports. I really wish they would enforce mask stuff more at airports. Because I'm like, dude, this is people from all over the world. You're in a very crowded, not necessarily clean space. Please, put on a mask. I'm sitting there in my plane seat, like double masked up. Hear people coughing like a row away, and I'm like, I can't escape. I'm in the box in the air, and I can't escape. Not okay. Let's osmose my snacks. Another thing on the plane, I'm like, okay, I really need to eat. I can't go without food. So I'm just like, pull the mask down, stuff it in my face, and put it back up. Yeah, they used to enforce that on the airplane. They don't anymore. Well, they just don't. Which is not very convenient for me. Yeah. No, I'm super aware. I'm super aware. Because again, I did catch COVID once. I'm kind of frustrated too because I wasn't even like out somewhere with a lot of people. I think I got it from like a repair person being in my house for an hour or so doing something to my balcony, like painting my balcony or something. Because I was trying to track down, how did I get this? Where did I get this from? I didn't go out anywhere. The only place I went was like the grocery store. I don't think that was it. So literally I did everything right. I think I still got it from somebody just being in my house for a little while. And it sucked. I don't want it again. Darn. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the balcony person. That was my best guess because I couldn't figure out where else I could have gotten it from. Because again, I hadn't gone out recently. I was still at home doing my stuff. So, it sucked a lot, and it could have been. I mean, it could have been worse. Luckily, I didn't lose like my sense of taste or smell, and I am back to my normal energy levels. Like I didn't have a long-term thing, but I don't want to take that risk again because, again, it like people saying, "Oh, it's like the flu." It's not. It's absolutely not like the flu. I've had the flu. That was not the flu. So I will avoid that if at all possible. And maybe, I guess maybe it's different for different people, but like for me, when I've had the flu, like, you know, I'll be really stuffed up, you know, I'll be exhausted, you know, I'll have bad sinus stuff going on, and I had a little bit of sinus stuff with COVID, but the thing that felt really, really weird to me was like this kind of brain fog that kind of came over me, and like I felt like I mean I was constantly sleeping. I pretty much pulled out the couch bed, and I would just like collapse onto my couch bed every once in a while and like sleep really deeply for like an hour or two, and then I would wake up and I would feel pretty alert, and I would try and do some things, and then I would just get so tired again, and again take another nap for like another hour. And I mean, this is after I had I had one day where I just had a really, really bad fever and I was exhausted. I couldn't sleep. It was just terrible. But for me, it was just absolute exhaustion, inability to do anything. I was just so tired, and I couldn't think very well. My brain was just like not functioning, and that gradually got better. Ironically for me, the thing with like eating was like my appetite wasn't affected at all. I actually got hungrier, and I was like, oh, I really want some carbs. Please give me some meat and carbs. I need that. But so I'm glad that wasn't affected. I'm glad my taste wasn't affected or anything, because that would have sucked. I would rather not have that. But I was definitely, my brain felt really weird, and I felt super exhausted. And it lasted for a while. Like it was really bad. Like I couldn't do much except sleep for a week, and then a week after that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take it easy and do very little. But I got a little bit of my energy back, and I did. And then after that, it was pretty much I gotta do special lines too. And then I had that weird cough that lasted like a month or two after that, but that's not necessarily a COVID thing. I've had that happen to other illnesses aside from COVID. Yeah. Basically, it sucks. I don't want that again. Yeah, I had this lingering cough that lasted for like 2 months. Which is weird, especially because, like, I didn't really have a cough while I had COVID. Like, it had a little bit of one, but it wasn't that bad. It was worse after I recovered from the COVID. Oh, that sucks. Ugh. Yeah, at least for me, I was able to get off of work. Although I felt kind of bad because, like, this was basically my last week on My Little Pony. I'm like, I've been on this show for like 15 months. I want to finish it off. And I couldn't. I didn't have the energy. At least work was understanding about that. So they're able to get another artist to fill in for me. Especially because it was like the last week, it was like clean, so, you know, not as bad as if I was on roughs. Are there griffins in MLP G5? I don't think I can say. Well, there are only Lynx griffins. If you want griffins, there is a Lynx griffin. It's me. I'm the one in MLP G5. Yeah, I'm just trying to be careful about what I say. I'll be super careful. Apparently more careful than they are with their marketing. Sorry, I'm just annoyed because, like, marketing has kind of spoiled some things that haven't been revealed yet. And it's like, dude, you got on to us so much about not posting our work because it might spoil things. But the marketing department can apparently spoil things. All they want to sell the toys is... Nah. Probably shouldn't yell about that too much. This doesn't seem very fair. Aww. Cool. It is exciting to see your name in the credits. That's why credits are so important. Because it's like, it's this cool little thing. You can say, hey, I did that. I participated. I kind of wonder when they're going to announce the... Not the show I'm on currently, but the show I was on after Pony. Yeah. I don't know how they decide, like... How networks decide what things to market. But it's really frustrating just, like, as a person on the art side of the production. Like, basically having to carefully set up these stories and all that kind of stuff. You know, trying to tell a good narrative, and then that just gets thrown out the window because the people actually, with the money, trying to make more money, don't care about that. They just don't care about that. Well, the thing with breaking NDAs, I wouldn't go to jail. I just wouldn't be able to, like, work in the industry anymore, and that sucks. I don't want to... I want to keep doing my job. I enjoy my job. My job is good. But it is tough sometimes because, again, it's like, you really want to... I think no matter what show you're on, people really want to really want to tell good stories. And the problem is that you need money and time to do that because that stuff's hard. It's not how you spell NDA Street. Yeah, I am very careful to not break my NDA because I've seen what happens when you do that. It's not good. You pretty much are like, it's not a big industry. People will remember what you say. Yeah, that kind of happened with the My Little Pony toys. Like, they pretty much made, you know, Celestia as pink because they sell pink stuff. And then people got all mad because they're like, why is Celestia pink? She's not pink in the show. And marketing wouldn't think that people would care about that because they're just trying to sell, you know, stuff to little girls. And they think, well, if girls want pink, who cares what the actual character looks like? No, like, usually people don't care about things being show accurate or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So then they created Cadence so they would have a alicorn that was pink. Which, you know, Cadence is cool. She coming! Oh Lord, she coming! She do a steppy. Big steppy. And they have at least, yeah. Yeah, we don't see much for Pegasus Days. We only see her as an alicorn. They have had some pretty cool toys for a G5 at least. Nice big ones, actually. And some nice brushables and all that kind of stuff. But come on. Thump. Oh Lord, she's coming up fast. Okay, got everything. Do the stomps later. Chris, look out. Oh no, they have AirPods in. They can't hear us. I keep feeling like oh no, they have AirPods in. They can't hear us. I feel like that was secretly a marketing campaign from Apple to get you to think about AirPods. Because it wasn't like headphones specifically. It was AirPods. They're like Photoshop people with AirPods in. You're like, oh no, they can't hear you coming with the AirPods. So a cynical part of me feels like that was all, that meme was a secret marketing campaign for Apple. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel it in my bones. If I were a pony, what kind of pony I would be? I would be a Pegasus. I like flying. I want to fly. Kieran's are also pretty good. I mean, actually, my usual pony Sona is a griffin. Like, I have that on my wall, actually. For the movie, we all drew our pony sodas together in a big painting. And I was like, can I be a griffin? And they're like, okay, sure. But if I had to pick a pony and I couldn't pick any MLP creature, it would be a Pegasus. Yeah, I'd have to have a G name. I picked a G name out for my pony, my Griffin Sona, my pony Griffin Sona. And I can't remember what it was, but it was a G name. Brain, look at him, and Chris, look out! It was not Lynx Griffin. That would be awkward. Just be like, I'm just gonna talk to the thing. I can talk to them, right? I can talk to them. It'll be fine. It was a cool G name. Now I can't remember what it was. That was from years ago. Famous leaker. No, I would not leak the things. I would not do it. You will watch the show yourself and find out what happens. Cool things happen, I'll say that much. Especially with Misty. Misty is great. Sandwich putting her armor there. How does armor work anyway? Well, they tried. Oh no! Chris, how do you feel about losing your face? And also all the rest of you? I feel like there was an old joke. I can't remember what the context was, but it was something I used to quote with my friends all the time. It was like, ah, my most of me. I'm pretty sure, isn't glycerin a, like, sugar? Is that just glucose? I feel like glycerin is a medical term. Organization 13 goes with X. Just spin it around and add an X. In this case, add a G. Wait, there's already a G in Lynx Griffin. Yes, this is Chris's first death. Extremely unpleasant. It's like, Chris, really? You should have done the tutorial. Or read the manual. Both of those things should have happened. Well, the real bad thing for Chris is this doesn't even kill them. I'd be luckier if it did, but it did not. Yeah, the deal with this is, because Chris sold their soul to Ralsei, the fire demon, Ralsei has the power to revive them if they die. Which is going to be useful in a world full of horrible giant monsters and things that can try and get you. No, this one's pretty bad. As will be covered a bit in the second part. What they got slurped? Like an apple noodle. Chomp. I'll say like, no. Oh god, they do have to play Cage Monster in real life. Ugh. No, like literally they have to. It sucks. What if they made a deal with rules first? Oh, that would be such a bad deal. It would be such a bad deal. I would not sell my soul to rules. I'm sure some people would. I would not be one of them. I'm not even sure what Chris would get out of the deal. I'm not sure that rules could revive them after death, for example. I'll say no. I was trying to do a good first impression. Chris sold their soul to rules, realized, oh man, I should have shopped around. I got a bum deal with this one. Oh, I kind of forgot his scarf. Go. Ka-chomp. Make sure I was in the right layer there. Chris selling her soul to Queen. Oof. At least they get plenty of potassium. Eldritch potassium. Willing peon. Queen still wants Noelle to be her peon, and she's like, no! Get out of here with that. Why did you Google hot dragon so much? It's like, what, doesn't everybody Google hot dragons? Teenagers are just large children. You're an adult. Adults are even bigger children. I am computer smart. Are you though? I'll say like, please do not. She do not listen. Oh shoot, it's time for my stretchies. Okay. My stretch just sneaks up on me. I need to get more water too. But yeah. First death, Chris lost their face and everything else. Time does fly when you're drawing stuff. At least my wrist has not felt too bad lately. But gotta make sure it stays in shape, because I don't need more of that. Kinda wonder if I shouldn't get one more muffin too. I don't know. I was like, please do not approach. Okay. Also, the deal is I'm kind of rapidly running out of stuff I can do clean lines for. I think I can do like a page and a half more. Oh no! Oh no! I guess I might have to refresh. Which has been kind of weird for me too lately. I'm not sure why. Come on, Twitch, stop being a butt. Okay, I'm gonna stuff one more muffin in my face to make sure I got noms. And also get water. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry, I'm back. I was getting water and also a muffin. So I'm back. I'm finishing this up. Blah, sorry. We're back to it. Do it and blew it. Eclat. Lighten her a day keeps the evil gods away. It's true. Chris's reverse Apple Jacks. Why do they taste like apple if they're not apples? We eat what we like. You remember those commercials? Where like they'd advertise Apple Jacks, it's all these kids eating Apple Jacks and they're like, why do you eat Apple Jacks if it doesn't taste like apples? And I'm like, I don't know, shut up. We're eating our cereal, old man. Like that was the best way they could advertise Apple Jacks. I like Apple Jacks though. I haven't had them for a while, but they're good. But they do not, in fact, taste like apples. Oh yeah, there were some lore things in ponies we never got to. One of them was bat ponies. Same with zebras. We never got to do much with zebras. I was almost going to do an episode that was working on zebras, but it got changed. I was looking ahead on the schedule, I'm like, oh, we're going to do an episode on Sakura? And we'll finally get Sakura backstory. But, I think the writers found it too difficult. Over there. Yeah, Luna's so excited about the mail. She loves the postal service. Chris got eaten. Om nom nom. Yeah, well, no, Abyssians were the cat people. The tall horses were just Arabian horses. But I think the Abyssians were what they called the cat people, like, from the movie. I'm already forgetting his name. Why am I forgetting his name? He's the cat. He was going to be a fox, and we made him a cat. He was going to be like a scorpion fox. It was going to be so cool. He had like 4 eyes and a scorpion tail. He was a fox. But that did not end up happening. He ended up being a cat. Okay. Well, this page is done. And so is poor Chris. They got Lenommed. It was super cool. But you know why it got changed? Because some executive was like, we can't have that. Zootopia just came out. I don't want foxes in our movie. And it's like, my dude, Zootopia just came out. Our movie isn't coming out for a year. Nobody's going to associate the movie with Zootopia a year from now. Which is what I mean when they say, like, most dumb decisions come from people who are not actually artists on the movie. Oh, I think I accidentally copied this the wrong way. Plus, I think also they wanted to make all the characters look friendlier, like the pirate parrots, which were all pretty cool, but they're still pretty friendly looking. The original versions of the pirates they were kind of harpies, not with like human faces, but like they were these blue, like dark blue, really scarier looking kind of, you know, probably Aarakocra is probably the closest thing you can say for them, because they have, like, you know, the arms and legs or something. But they were basically supposed to be harpy pirates, and they were more intimidating, but they were very cool. And they got turned into the pirate parrots. They looked a little less scary. Yeah, I like the Sphinx has a pony face. So a Sphinx would be part giant lion, part pony, not part human, part pony. I mean, even the kind of closest thing they get to the humans is, like, T-Rex as a centaur, but even, like, as a centaur, he doesn't really have a human face. He has kind of more of a bull face. Netflix, no! I really enjoyed working on the movie. The movie was a lot of fun to work on. Probably one of my best movie doing experiences. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. We are working away on this Eldritchrune stuff. Mostly just been doing line work today. Why can't I type properly? Elsie's like, oh no! Yeah, this is again Eldritchrune stuff. I'm not doing a full, like, this is the comic from beginning to end. We're just doing various scenes as I want to do them. Oh shoot, my Photoshop's being weird again. So here's one section. There might be some other ones I do. I'm like, oh, it might be interesting to do one with you know, talking with Noelle in the future. Maybe a longer one with a vessel, because people keep asking about that. I thought maybe I'd do one with where the cult actually sacrifices Chris, kind of thing. So there's options, but I don't want to go like, this is everything in order. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of Daring Do episodes that I guess kind of cover that stuff, but I never got to work on a Daring Do episode. Never on my roster. So I had multiple ones where I worked with Starlight and Trixie. Repressed. Alright, thanks a bunch for stopping by. Always appreciate people being here. Oh, that's right, I can't do this properly. Let's get it back here. Adjust that a bit. Ah, yes, the hard part of any venture is always writing it down. Fun part, but also the hard part. Daring Do conversation. They did have waifu pillows. I mean, those people who work on the show have been to pony conventions. We know what gets sold there. We know what's happening. Yeah. Ralph says like, oh no, because Chris got eated. They got ate. Despite Ralph says warnings of, no, please read the manual first. Chris, you should have read the manual first. Yeah, I gotta have a circle for placement, then I know where I'm putting everything. It's kind of like habit. I'm like, okay, circle, then the rest of the owl. I'm like, that's how I draw. Oh no, Chris is very edible. That's the problem. They taste like apples. Maybe I should have used Farfel instead. Was macaroni too pedestrian? Susie, like, what are you talking about? Chris is the most edible. Susie don't mind. They can deal with metal. They have worms in their tubes. You wouldn't like me. I'm gamey. I'm stringy. There goes the lightener. It's okay. Well, not great, but it's doable. It's fixable. As Rossie's like, no. I was trying to make things go right. Save me a slice. Susie's like, no, all for me. I'll probably color these in white later. How do you make a creature with no visible pupils? Chris has to fully die first. Therein lies the problem. So I considered adding in extra panels where he kind of, naps up Chris's soul, because he has it in the next page. But I decided not to. Has uncooked macaroni questions? But no, it's a relevant question. Unfortunately, Chris has to fully die first. Very unfortunate for Chris, anyway. What are we on? Wait, is that 2-1? Okay, this is as far as I've roughed out. Well, I have roughed out, like, no, not that one. Backgrounds, but I haven't roughed out the rest of the characters yet. If Chris ends up in a coma? I don't know. It kind of depends on the nature of it. Like what kind of coma it is. Yeah, if they're like not dead but severely injured or paralyzed or comatose or something, then he'd probably find some other means of getting them back on their feet. Dying is easy, comedy is hard. That was a line from MSC3K all the time. Not to make delightfully demonic dishes. He's making something normal, he's just hanging on to the soul. He's like, do. Hope Chris dies sometime. I can get them back. Cauldron cooking, the sequel. Also, I'm not even sure what's going on with my perspective here. I might need to do some stuff. He's just reviving Voldemort. I'm just gonna do a thing until I get it right. Point it where I like it. Not quite. Not quite. Actually, that seems okay. Ralph's just biding his time. He makes a little song like do 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 do. I'm just hanging out. Hanging out, making some soup. What are you doing? Discord? Why did Discord die? Discord, what are you doing? Oh, I'm glad that one helped. It was fun. I was like, they're just batting him around like a little ball. I don't know if you've seen that video of the 3 lions. But they're just kind of laying on the ground and they're just kind of batting a ball around between them. The most important ingredient is human soul, but what if someone's vegetarian? Or vegan, actually. Oh, yeah, Eldritchrune is still a good cook. He makes some tasty things. Right, we got 3 copies going on here. No, he's not gonna cook with Ralph's or Chris's soul. He's just kind of like, well, I'm gonna hang on to this until I can use it. You'll have to find the video of that 3 lions. Feeling is the blood of the innocent. Susie's like, oh, my favorite. Red velvet cake. Soup is good. I'm not gonna want soup, even though I'm actually gonna make shrimp tonight. Shrimps is bugs. It is sea bugs. Remind me of a cake suspiciously in the shape of Chris's face. Gives it to Susie. Chris is like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah. Could also be Noelle's face. She'd probably enjoy that too. She would just like a cake. I want a cake. Everybody should get a cake. Ooh. Everyone screamed when the arm was cut off. When Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance came out, I tried to make a Meow Wow cake. Like a 3D cake. I don't know if I was super successful at it, but it was fun to try. I know. Cake is delicious. And I was like, can that just be my face? Would you still love me if I was a cake? Yes. Oh yeah, I have a picture of it somewhere. I don't know where. It was so many years ago. Whether that when the game came out. It didn't look super good. Because I'm not a professional baker, and I was just kind of like, well, let's see what happens, but I want to try and make this cake. But again, it was fun to do. Just to try something. I feel like I just don't do that much. I just try things out more. I don't know, it's harder when you get older. Still tasted pretty good. But there was so much cake, because the thing with those like 3D cakes is you really gotta like sculpt them. So you have like, it's like making something out of marble. You have to cut away a bunch of it. And so you end up with a lot of cake that you don't actually like use. Poor Elmo, even if he was a delicious cake. Boy or girl, happy pride. Cat or dog? It's just round. That's all it is. It's just a round friend. My gender is Meow Wow. Do I ever use this anywhere? I do not. Okay. Fine. What constitutes as 2 characters? I feel like that would still count as 1 character, even if they have, like, you know, a talking snake tail. So I feel like you could kind of have it as like a familiar or something kind of thing. Rouse has a castle. It's got a lot of spires. Well, speaking of Meow Wow. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. After we do this session, I'll probably do one more half hour before I stop, because I also need to make myself dinner, not a Chris dinner, and feed Alfie's her bugs, all that goodness. I'm not sure I'm going to post next. I want to finish all the parts for this before I post it again, especially since they should follow one after the other pretty quickly. But we still have a ways to go. We got all these. No, that's not it. We got all these parts that I haven't done the roughs for yet. Or at least not the rough characters for yet. I gotta do the shading and the coloring. It's always good getting all this stuff done though. Okay. That's just kind of the silhouette in the background here. I actually had a friend who, for a D&D character, they pretty much did what was that? I think three goblins in a trench coat was their character. And they made it work, mostly because they all functioned as one character. It was pretty cute. I'm sure some people have. Yep, 3 goblins in a trench coat. Like, I know the, what's the other one? The disconnected one? Or was it new? Oh, I'm sorry. There's one that's been updated pretty consistently. And I know because the author keeps, messaging me to let me know when it updates. Hilarious events. I have another friend who has like a kobold as a character who is very cute. Scrimjaw. Well, I need to check and see if there's any like reviews and stuff on the other fics. I have not given that a look yet. Again, most things I want to like, I just want to let people write what they'd like to write. Burb. Say burb. And the last character I played, who I might be able to play again, was a Kinku. It was very cute, and what eventually became her deal was that she was autistic, and she mostly, and her special interest was Christmas, so she mostly communicated by mimicking back parts of like Christmas movies and Christmas specials, which was hard because I didn't remember all of them, but I tried my best to remember. I'm like, okay, how do I talk in Christmas specials? And like, she had a Christmas sweater that she wore all the time. And her deal was that she was a rogue who would break into people's houses to leave them shiny gifts like Santa. Like, she would just collect random cool things and then leave them in people's houses as gifts. So she was extremely good at breaking and entering. Really good like lock picking and sneaking spells. A lot of Thunderbirds. I keep seeing geese on my walks in the morning, because right now they're raising their goslings, and the goslings are getting really big. They're almost to adult size. I wish I had an army of burbs. It'd be cool to have an army of geese. Yeah, the goslings are so cute. They were little babies, and now they're big babies. They still have their baby fluff, but soon enough the baby fluff will be gone, and then they'll be full geese, and I will not know which ones are goslings. Now everybody's like, geese are so scary. It's like, just don't mess with them. They won't hurt you. I mean, yeah, they'll hurt you if you mess with them, but if you just stay out of their way and Be like, alright, I'm over here, geese. You staying out there with your babies. Then, they will do their thing. And even then, geese are like mostly intimidation. Yeah, I'll have a nasty bite if they bite you, but not the worst thing in the world. At least geese don't have rabies. Like, I've never seen one post that was like, would you rather fight angry geese or an angry raccoon? And I'm like, definitely the geese. I would much rather deal with an angry geese and an angry goose than an angry raccoon. Because the raccoons, one raccoons are still scary, in as much as geese are scary. But like, raccoons have rabies, which is infinitely scarier than just a goose. That's so funny. Talks like Solid Snake. Colonel Canary. Canary in the coal mine. Alright, getting through the backgrounds, although I might need to stop for my thing in a bit. Huh, interesting. Most I'm interested that like there's so many different variations people take for the stories based off of Paper Trail and how they think the story would go. Alright, yeah, I need to take my break in just a bit because I think the ads might have already passed. At least we're almost done with these backgrounds. Alright, quick break. I'll be right back. All that business. Yay for progress. Progress on the arts. Stretchy. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more session, and then we'll be done, I think. It's be a nice little one. At least we'll have gotten done a bunch of line art. And yeah, I know how tough it can be. Like, oh, I have this expectation now. How do I get to it? Ah! The only way to do it is to just try. Just to give it a go. But I know that's very intimidating. Oh no. Terrorizing the ant. Okay. One more stretches as we go. Yeah, there are so many chapters. Goodness gracious. Just gotta do one at a time. Heck, even harder one at a time. One step at a time. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and stuff. I'm back for our final session. Let's finish up this page at least. It's hard. It's tough. Yeah, I think I'll just go until I finish this page, basically. Including all the characters, since this is all I have done in terms of roughs anyway. I have the background, I have all the backgrounds roughed for the whole section. But I need to do the rest. Yeah, exactly. As long as you're happy with it, it's all good. First and foremost, you should do stuff for your own benefit. Especially art. Because the one thing you do not have control over when you make art is what kind of audience you'll get. I've had people ask me, like, how do you get an audience with comics you want to make? I'm like, you can't worry about that, dude. You're going to drive yourself nuts if you worry about it. A lot of that is just luck. That's tough, because then you definitely do want to make sure at least you're happy with it. Yeah, being able to do commissions definitely is a nice windfall in case things are tough. But even then, you may not necessarily be able to rely on that because everybody's got all kinds of things they're doing. And it can be rough. That's definitely been my backup plan for if work is dried up, but work is not dried up for me yet, so I've been okay. It's much easier to do this with the other pen, but yeah, me, the thing. Well, you don't even necessarily have to have a particular role in a fandom. Your role is fan. That is role enough. And that can take whatever shape you want it to. Heck, you can switch around if you decide you want to do something else. Ain't nobody can stop you. I probably need to put that in the back of the thing more. Backgrounds, why do you take so long? Yeah, exactly. Oftentimes creators and fans are just one and the same. Just fans of different things than what they're actually working on. One way or another. Whew. Why are backgrounds such a pain? But we still gotta get them done so I know where characters are standing. Yeah, 50 people is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, exactly. Definitely can't worry about pleasing everybody or you're going to be in real trouble. Yeah, at least the way it is now and a social media thing. Posting stuff consistently is what helps. That's why I've honestly been trying to do at least one doodle every day, but keeping up with that can be pretty tough. It definitely means I don't have time to do longer form stuff. Because yeah, pretty much the way you do that is just by consistently doing stuff a lot. That is what will maintain interest. And the problem is, unless that's your job, that can be a really tough thing to keep up. We all have lives with, you know, a bunch of other things we got to worry about. Use the other brush. But especially if you're like trend chasing for art, like trying to, you know, keep up with the latest meme, that can be really exhausting. Like, I totally missed the boat on the Barbie meme because like 10 other people beat me to it. I'm like, okay, that ship sailed. And again, there might be some readers that are like, oh, I've never seen this idea before. That's cool. So glad I finally got to see this idea. At least expressed somewhere. And copy paste this background somewhere else later if possible, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, planning for a card game stuff, that seems very extensive. Like, my brother tried to teach me Magic the Gathering once, and I struggled with that. I'm like, is this card good? I don't know. It's like, for that kind of game, we have to learn a bunch of like arbitrary rules that apply across all kinds of different weird things. Alright, well, that's backgrounds for this page. Now we'll do character lines. This will be the last thing we have for this page. That's as far as I've gotten with roughs. Rouse is just chilling. Yeah, more basic rules would probably help. He's just hanging on to Chris' soul while he's working on making some noms. Let's do some cool demon magic. I want to do special lines too. Yeah, can't type. Yeah, balancing out like the end goal you have in mind with the interactions you're gonna have in the meanwhile is always tough because I feel like the best interactions end up being like character interactions kind of end up being organic, but then that means that might meander around what you want to do with where the story goes. It's hard to find that balance. And I think that balance is different for everybody. I like planning, and I also like being spontaneous. It can happen both ways. That's often the thing is if it's spontaneous, you can't often control which direction it's going in. Okay, I'll leave that. Back to that. Ring ring, it's the soul phone. He's like, yay, finally! Yep, just depends on what you can do. Also, this won't be obvious until I write all the text in this, but this is literally 4 days later. So, Ralphie's been waiting a little while. Cherry flavored soul. No, it's apple flavor. Specialize. What was that? Clicked the wrong thing. As long as it's not green apple flavor. Is it better to have just regular apple flavor or green apple flavor? Yeah, oftentimes, like, you can do really cool stuff if you just imply it. That leaves things to the imagination, and that's often very scary. He's doing some magics. There's Sorcerer's Apprentice music going here. Do some cool effects with different brushes in the future. Make it all sparkly. A little sparkle. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the line work. Line work is my favorite part to do. It needs to be like whoosh. I'll add some more effects there later. Do big crazy lines. Now he gets to do cool demon magic. The effects. And Chris is back. Welcome back from letting out the dog. Chris, welcome back to life. Boink. You know, Chris was face to face with death for a while. This is literally 4 days later. Ooh, creepy. Freaky. Chris has seen things they wish they hadn't. Or not seeing things probably is pretty dark. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Sam's just like, I'm just gonna break the fourth wall, bye. Santa's such a hard character to get right. I admire the people that can do it well. Because I'm not sure I'm one of them. At least I feel like at this point Dogs of Future Past could have done that better. But that's okay. Deadpool. So they reminded of that one, what was it, Nancy comic? Where Nancy uses panel breaks to steal, like, cookies from herself. I always like those kinds of gags. It's cute. I like it when the conventions of the medium are played with. Oh, thank you. I feel like I could do Sans better, but I do my best with what I can. He is an interesting character. Chris, go pop. Elsie's like, oh, yay, you're back. Another Chris. No, it's the same Chris. Just traumatized. Hey, you're back. Ah! Pretty much. Also, hello. I'm probably gonna be stopping soon. Because I gotta take care of food stuff for myself. Chris has not had a good time. Yeah, Susie's theme in the background is fitting. Of course, the theme is like, huh? What? Huh? What happened? Those kilts are awesome. No, they're wearing armor. I'll say like, hello. Kilts are peak gender. I have been to Scotland before where they very much like to be like, hey, buy a kilt for your family name, blah blah blah. Mostly because kilts are very expensive, so it's nice when they can sell them. Scottish accent. I kind of wonder if I should change some of their dialogue up here to sound more formal than casual, because I've heard some interesting arguments that maybe Chris has an unnaturally formal speech, mostly because I kind of the thought recently that the second voice that's speaking in the opening Goner Maker sequence actually is Chris. I guess humans just talk like that. They're just weird that way. Okay. Hello. Ah! Those panel gags. I just filled the whole space with a. Hey. I'll say, so are you going to read the manual now? And yes, they are. Yes, they actually are now going to read the manual. They've learned their lesson. No, I will not skip the tutorial. Bad things will happen. Yeah, they got a bunch of traumas. That's why Ralsei is a little upset. He's like, no, they just got here because of trauma. No, they got another trauma. They're gonna have so many traumas. This meme slaps Chris. This child can hold so many traumas. This definitely will not have repercussions in the future. Some days, you just gotta scream. Especially after all this. Just gotta scream it all out. Even more Susie music. Appropriate. I lost my heart to the search ghost to the side monster. Oh, jeez. Those are so annoying. Actually, what was annoying was the large bodies. Because they would just, like, you know, smack into you and knock you off a platform. And it's like, I don't have high jump yet. So now I'm stuck in a recursive loop. Chris, if only I had had high jump. It would not have helped. It's going full Riku here. Yeah, search ghosts were a pain too. I feel like large bodies were the worst. They are not the same. Okay. Wow. I got through like what was it, about 5.5 pages of comic plus the other stuff we did at the start. But that's all that I have roughed in terms of characters. I do have the rest of the backgrounds roughed, like got all the layouts and stuff going on. More talking and stuff. I must speak with Birdley. Conversation. Eldritch knowledge. And then Chris tries again with Susie. And it goes more productively this time. But yeah, I still have to do the rough characters for all those other parts. I have not yet done them. I've just done the backgrounds, which is a start. Oh yeah, what is that one? Plus the character stuff. So, plus it's also my time to stretch anyway, so I might as well do that. But yeah, poor Chris. They got the traumas. Ugh. But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna have to stop for today, just because otherwise I'd be doing either roughs or colors or something like that. We can do this another time. I might do a stream Wednesday night if possible, because we'll see how that goes. Because my power apparently is scheduled to go out on Wednesday, but it comes back on at 3 p.m. So if that's the case, I'll have to be able to do one in the evening for a few hours. And watch How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know, Hiccup would or Toothless seems like probably a little even less dangerous than Susie. Although, you should watch How to Train Your Dragon anyway, because it's good. But yeah. Yeah, I might stream on Wednesday. I'm hoping to. It'll probably be in the evening if I do. Yeah, Susie can't fly anymore. She never could. But, yeah, I'm hoping that I can stream on Wednesday evening. It depends on how things go, if I'm super busy or not, and if my power is working properly, because that's going to be a pain in the butt. I don't like the fact that my power is going out for such a long period of time. Yeah, no wings. But, if all goes well, I should be able to do a stream Wednesday evening. That is my hope. Because then I can get more progress on this. And everything else, because goodness, there's still plenty left to do. Just from, based on asks, I'm like, oh, I can do a comic based on this. No, I can do one based on this. Like, do more stuff with Noelle. Again, do more stuff maybe with the humans parts. All kinds of stuff. Oh yay! Almost done with finals. All that goodness. But yeah, in the meanwhile, got pretty far with this, so that's good. We got a bunch of line work done on both the backgrounds and the characters. So that is always a good thing. But yeah, I'll see what I can keep going. Excuse me. I go, play. Yeah, see where I can. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this. I want to finish all the parts before I post them so I can post them like one after the other in terms of, you know, one day, the next day, so they're not that far apart. But that'll be in the future at some point. But yeah, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. It was nice to do this again. Again, I can try this on Wednesday. I don't know if I can do it next Sunday because I'm going to a movie with my coworkers, and that'll be in the afternoon, so I'll be busy. But I'll find other days to stream art, and of course more Earthbound later. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. I super appreciate it. Thank you anybody that followed me, and I will talk to you all very soon. Hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Alrighty, see y'all later.